So since due to we're not here during the first meeting, I feel like I should go over. I feel like I should go over the history of leadership again to show you how we came to be where we are today.
Mm-hmm.
So like the history of leadership is like grounded in our history. How would I say it? Like the moment there's in the ice no the caveman area caveman era there's other like human species too. There's other like hominin species, and like we're not the strongest, we're not the fastest, we're not the smartest either. But like, why is that? We like when like live through it, we're the one that like survive and thrive. So this 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 concept is brought up by Simon Sinek. It's called the circle of safety, and so like back in the day, there's like saber-tooth tiger, like there's like weather, there's like other things that like constantly trying to kill you. So that's that's danger. And the reason the reason that we live is that we became a social animal and we create the circle of safety. So when we stick together, when we live and when we live with people that share our value and beliefs, we tend to like do more creative things because we feel safe, and like the safety is based on everyone and based on the leader. The leader determines who gets in and who like stay out. And the second thing is that how they determine how close together is the like circle is, and there's a reason that we give them first choice of meat and first choice of mate because they might die. So that's why we have them, we give them first choice of mate first. That's so that we could keep their gene in our pool. We will like breed more of them, and we give them first choice of meat because they're the strong one, they're the leader. When danger comes, we expect them to like go out and like face the danger for us. That's why we call them leaders, because like they lead first, and like that's carry on like throughout all history. In like the sixth century BC, there are like a lot of like ideas revolving around leadership. In China, there's Lao Tzu. He said that a good leader is like an invisible leader. They don't like when they do a good job, you don't even notice them. And in everyone knows the art of war, right? In that they said that leaders that retreat without shame and win without for their own gain, and all they think about is their own people, is a good leader. And then in Buddhism, it's like the main ideology is love and compassion, and they show it through empathy and compassion as well. So like that, and then even in Christianity or Catholic, like Jesus basically said that you take the greatest among you and you make them your servant, not your leader, but your servant. They serve you. And then and he also said that the leaders are like the shepherd of the flocks. They are like supposed to take care of the people. And then like from those examples, we can tell that leaders is not about dominion. It's not about like scaring people. It's about like taking care of people. But then like something happened like around the industrial age, Industrial Revolution. Around the Industrial Revolution, in the 16th century, Niccolo Machiavelli, he wrote the book The Prince, and in it he basically said that it's not about the people anymore. It's not about taking care of people anymore. It's all about the leaders, and you as a leader, you have to do everything in your power, even like any means, even through deceiving and then like scaring people to stay in power. And then in the 19th century, we start to popularize this idea. It's like you are born a leader. Like either you are born with it or you don't have it. So like if you become a leader, you're like unique just because you're a leader. And then there's scientific management. The idea came up in the like 20th century, and it's completely got rid of the people. They basically start saying that it's not about the people that we are taking care of anymore. What we do now is to optimize the work. We don't care if we don't care if we can make them do better or not. What we care about is having them do what we are told. And from all those things, it creates a lot of problems that we face right now in our world. There's two main ideas. Because we for so long we keep saying that leaders are born not made. We start slowly seeing them as a superstar, or we start disconnecting ourselves to being leader. So what happened is that we start making change because we keep thinking that the leaders or someone else is gonna do that thing for us, is gonna change for us. That's why right now we are so polarized in politics. It's because we don't talk to each other anymore. We just expect the politician to change for us. But then we as a society, we are polarized. We get the leader we deceive. They are the reflection of us. So that's why we the politicians are so fighting so much right now. And another thing is that we instead of trying to become a good leader ourselves, we try to become other people. When Steve Jobs came out with his book, everyone's starting to be asshole to their employees just because, so that they can become Steve Jobs. Or with Jack Welch, he's one of the most profitable CEO in the world. He's a complete asshole, but he's successful. But then everyone's trying to copy him, and that's the first idea. That's the superstar idea of leadership that we is the misconception that we are dealing with today. The second thing is that remember the scientific management idea. It's not about the people anymore. It's all about the process, how to optimize them. So what we do is that we don't focus on being a leader. We focus on what to do. How I say it? We focus on the little things that we do to make a good leader. So if you go on YouTube right now and if you look up TED Talks video, you see things like how to act confident like leaders, how to speak like a leader, how to write like a leader. If you go up and look for a video, it's how to tell if you are a leader by looking at your signatures. What's that connection? Is that what kind of connection is that? And another thing is that we stop focusing on the way we impact people. We focus on what to do. If you are trying to do all these things to pretend that you are a leader. Like if you spend so much time trying to be a leader, like if you spend it's the same amount of time actually trying to be a leader, then like you become one. And that's the thing that like we are dealing with today, and how next I'm gonna talk about how like our club is gonna work and how it's gonna like help you getting out of those like mindset and become like the leader for yourself and for your people. So like you were there during the first meeting, and you were there during the first meeting too. So like you heard what I said. Did you like go and make like any drastic change to your life to be a better leader? Do you? No, right? Do you? No, exactly. So like that's plan A. Like that's like telling people what's right and what's wrong. But it's a cruel joke if you don't tell them how to do it. So like that, this is the part where like I'll tell you like how our club's gonna work. So like our club would work like largely based on this principle: better me plus better you equal better world. Because like being a human is a paradox. We are constantly like trying to be ourselves, like individualism, but also you are also trying to be a part of a group. So like if using that like paradox, using that motive to work to our advantage, we can become like better leaders together. So there's a three concept I want to talk about today that's like gonna work together throughout our like club's meeting time. The first one would be Give and Take by Adam Grant. So this idea is largely based on how you interact with people. You tend to like give more when you're interacting with people. Are you like willing to like give more? And because of the like the bad leadership that we're dealing to today, there's a lot of like taking, and it's from our like reward system. Like if you do good, you get rewarded, right? So the more you do, the more you get. But like to what end? You're gonna like start like pushing out people of the way, stabbing people in the back just to be at the top and to get rewarded. So like that's one of the reason why there's a lot of taking and there's not enough of giving. And like when I said give and take, you tend to think that the giver are more likely to be agreeable with you, and the taker are more likely to be disagree with you, right? But like during his research, it's actually like there's like both disagree taker and agreeable taker, and like he draw it on a like 2x2. So this is here. And this is agree. I don't know how to spell it. Then the disagreeableness. Like we tend to think that the giver are here and the taker are here. But like what happened to this? To what happened to the agreeable taker? Those are like you call them the faker. They would like say nice things in front of you, but in like when you're not around, they will go around to like take things away from you, and like there's a lot of that going on just because there's like the way leadership is set up. You want to fit in. It's the status quo. You want to fit in, and you don't want to like stand out or like straight up taking from people. So the goal of our club is to have everyone as disagreeable giver. Like if you think about it, your best friend, like even though they are your best friend, they agree with you a lot, right? But you still hang out with them. Like, why do you hang out with someone that like constantly disagreeing with you, but like at the same time they're also helping you out? So that's what I want to get through like constantly attending club meeting and like having everyone giving presentation. And when disagreeable giver, how would you get there? So this is another study by Kim Scott. She's one of the most popular executive advisor at the Silicon Valley, and in her book, Candor Feedback. Yeah, Candor Feedback. So like on this graph is this way is niceness, and this way is honesty. So if you look at if you are in this quadrant, you are not nice and you are also not being honest. You don't want to be there. This way, you are not nice, but you are giving good feedback. Right here, it's you are both nice and you're also giving like honest feedback, and that's where everyone want to go. And this is you are nice, but you're not being honest. So basically, you're being a taker kind of. Like you don't push people to do like the best, trying to be the best of themselves. So if you think about improving giving feedback, what do you think? Are you trying to be more like honest first? Like usually people think that they're trying to be they need to be no. They need to be nicer first, then we start being honest and give feedback. But the thing is that if you start being nice first, you get stuck here. You're not gonna like take yourself out of the loop and like start giving actual feedback. The thing that you want to do is you start being honest first. So basically being asshole, like just tell them the way that it is, and then you work your way toward like being nice. And this model is based on the model of a company called NextJump, and the Harvard Business School did a study on them, and this they found out that there's only 3 companies in the world that are innovating how work is done, and like this company NextJump, they do things really differently from like usual company, and I want to like implement that into our club. And the 2 things that they do is like the 2 main things that they do really differently is that the way they give feedback and the way they reward people. So we're gonna go into like the feedback first. So the problem with feedback we are going through right now, like as you see right here, we are not, either we are too nice or we are too being honest and people don't like it. And another thing is that you don't get a lot of feedback, like not constant enough, so you could like improve right away, because it's usually just like a 1 year thing, right? Like you get feedback and then you move on. And another thing is that your feedback is tied to your like bonus or performance review. So like when you're receiving feedback, you're like no, don't say more, because like the more they give you feedback, the more likely that you're not gonna get any bonus because you're not doing a lot of things right. So like what Next Jump does is that they completely like serve feedback from like a performance or like a recognition program, and they have something called Developmental gym, and that's what we're gonna like do during our meetings. So like this is what it looks like. It's like a circle. There's training.
Okay, no me. Hello everyone.
What do you say?
I thought you guys were maybe in a meeting or something.
We really clearly are, in fact, in a meeting.
Dude.
Hello.
There's literally writing on the wall.
Okay, so wait, is this really me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just the people who have assembled in a room but aren't meeting.
Well, I thought you guys were just okay.
And when you say this video, come on.
Well, welcome to the meeting.
There's a video.
It doesn't matter.
You're fine.
He can edit it.
Yeah, edit you out.
So like this part is the training part. This is what you're gonna actually do during the meetings. So training. Actually, let me back it up a little bit and let me talk about. Does anyone know the learning pyramid? Anyone? No. So it's basically like when you learn a new thing. So like there's different level of like understanding. Like the first level is like you just basically like remember it. So if I give you an equation like that's the triangle thing.
Pythagorean theorem.
So like the first level of learning is just basically remember that it's A2 plus B2 equals C2. It's basically like understanding. Remembering. The second level is actually understanding it. You're like, oh, it's actually like a math, like math. Oh yeah.
In one zone.
Math equation to try to solve like length, right? So the third level is how to apply it. Is my handwriting bad?
No, Abby's stomach is growling.
So. The third level is to how to use it during like when you have a math problem and you know how to use the equation. The fourth level is to how to, they call it analyze, but I call it connecting. This is where you connect this equation to other math problem to other equation so that you could like use them together and like get more understanding out of math because you have different way of thinking, a different way to look at things. The next level, I think I forgot one. The next level is to like how you like come up with your own, like you try to like, manipulate the equation to your own understanding, and the final level is teaching. Like so it's basically mean if you want to understand something to the fullest level, you're gonna have to teach it to someone that haven't learned it before and explain it to them like so that they could understand it and like work themselves too. And that is how our club is gonna work using the feedback system. It's gonna be constantly one person up here telling everyone about like leadership, like either it's a leadership concept or a leadership experience that they are going through. And the people down here is gonna like be constantly learning and like applying the knowledge that they are being like shown or taught to. They're gonna be constantly applying it to themselves. So it's like a constant loop of doing that. And to do that, we're gonna use this. So this is our like actual meeting. I plan to have it. The first 20 minutes would be just giving presentation, like one person giving presentation, and like 10 minutes after that, we're gonna do both oral feedback and anonymous feedback. I picked 10 minutes and both of them for like a really specific reason. I picked 10 minutes. It's a really short amount of time. The reason is that the less time you have, the less time you have to give feedback, the less time you have to sugarcoat thing. So it's basically forcing you to like go this way up instead of like being nice and like go work like toward the optimal like area. So 10 minutes, it's basically forcing you to be honest. And the reason I want to do both anonymous feedback and oral feedback is that like anonymous feedback, when you get that from the people that you know, like you don't know who gave that to you, but you know that it's everyone in here and they are working toward the same goal as you. You're gonna view those feedback as one person, and you are more likely to like take it in internally and don't have any like feedback against like anyone. So that's why I picked both. So usually, like if you go to a Toastmaster, it's mostly gonna be focusing on giving feedback to the person standing up here, right? But to us, we actually like be more focused on the people sitting down there and like practicing giving feedback. Have you seen those like picture or like those cartoon or like pictures of there's like two booths and the two lines of people? It's one line is comforting lies and the people lines up for it. But on like the other line is like honest truth. There's no one there. There's no like people are not willing to take feedback in. And you think that receiving feedback is hard, but actually it's giving feedback is harder. So that's what we are focusing on. It's not like of course you're gonna like receiving feedback regardless when you're standing up here. But what we're gonna focus on is like you sitting down there practicing giving good feedback. It's not just the person up here like practicing their thing, but it's also you like practicing when you're just listening to, and like through that it's create this loop, because to give good feedback you have to implement these things into your understanding somehow and like try to give them like actual feedback. And then that's the feedback section. That's the coaching. So like after receiving feedback, so this upper is I would call it the training part, and this one is the recovery, because like in sport or like when you are working out, you need time to like get yourself to relax and like take it in, right? So coaching would be out of meeting hours, and what I'm gonna do is assign people to a talking partner, and the goal is to have two people like pushing themselves, pushing each other to be better, right? Because we are not good at keeping ourselves accountable, and we are not good at being objective when it comes to feedback. So that's why I assign two persons. You are not being accountable to yourself, but you are being responsible to the other person. and the goal is to push each other to be better. It's based on this: better me plus better you equal better world. That's like the goal of the coaching part. But I think we're gonna like hold off on the coaching part until school starts, so that we could have more people. But we could start signing now to you guys want later. So that's the coaching, and I think I might have to clarify this, but it's not gonna be me standing up here talk all year. I hope that we're gonna have everyone speak at least once and like practicing giving presentation and giving practicing giving feedback every meeting as many as possible. So that's the feedback, and then into the recognition program. Okay.
Cold in here.
It's really cold in here.
You haven't moved yet. Now I'm like sweaty.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
really warm. So recognition is the last part of my presentation today, and like I mentioned before, because of how our recognition is set up, that's not constant enough, and it's rewarding the person that did the best. So if you set up a reward system that reward the best, everyone are out for themselves because they're trying to be the best. But like that's why I brought up this idea of give and take. There's actually a lot of people out there, but they are not working in the environment that encourage giving. So what I'm gonna do with recognition is that instead of giving to the best, I'm gonna give to the person that helping other being the best. And we're gonna do that monthly, and we're gonna do that monthly. We're gonna vote for people that help other people being the best. And when you set up a system of helping other people, instead of getting people that's trying to be the best, right? You're gonna get a group of people that trying to help each other better, and that's like a much better way for like teamwork than trying to like be the best himself.